Welcome to the Explainer. Hey, if you're gearing up for your PCI Level 1 or Level 2 exams, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most critical topics you'll face, the pre-pour inspection, straight out of Section 6.13 of the TM-101 manual.
Think about it. The moment that concrete goes into the form, it's game over for making changes. Any mistake, a rebar just a half-inch out of place, a dirty form, a forgotten embed, it's locked in forever. So what is that final quality gatekeeper? Well, it's the pre-pour inspection.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with why this whole thing matters so much. Then, we'll walk through the essential checkpoints you need to know, the forms, the rebar, the pre-stressing strand, and the embeds, before we wrap it all up with your final inspection. This is your checklist for success, both on the exam and out in the plant.
Let's be really clear about this. This is not just about ticking a box on a form. The pre-pour inspection is the final, all-encompassing quality audit. It is your absolute last chance to catch an issue before it becomes a permanent, expensive, and let's face it, a potentially dangerous problem.
As an inspector, your number one job here is to verify that what you see in front of you matches what's on the shop drawings, period. You are providing that crucial, independent review of the setup that's a core principle of quality control. You are the fresh set of eyes making sure it's 100% right before that concrete truck even starts to back up.
All right, let's get right into the checklist. And we're going to start with the foundation of it all, the form itself. I mean, it's simple, right? If the form is wrong, whatever comes out of it is going to be wrong.
Every single one of these points has a direct impact on the final product. You're checking the size, making sure it's clean, checking for sealed joints. But you know, that last one, that is the one that's absolutely critical. The form's tolerances have to be even tighter than the product's.
Now, this is a huge concept for your exam, so really let this sink in. You cannot create a precise product from an imprecise mold. It's just not possible. That means the form's tolerance must be less than the final product's tolerance. So get that tape measure out and verify every single dimension against those shop drawings.
Okay, next up, we're moving to the steel skeleton of the member, the reinforcing bars, or as we all know it, rebar. Getting this right is absolutely fundamental for your Level I certification.
Your inspection here has a few different layers. You're verifying the rebar's position and making sure it has the right amount of concrete cover. You're checking for cleanliness because you need a good bond. You're making sure the ties are secure so nothing shifts around during the pour. You're checking those little tie wire ends. And of course, if it's coated rebar, you're inspecting the integrity of that coating.
So what is concrete cover? It's that protective layer of concrete over the steel. It's like sunscreen for the rebar. It shields it from moisture, prevents rust, and it's essential for structural capacity. Too little cover, and you risk corrosion. Too much cover, and you might actually compromise the member's design strength.
You know, reinforced concrete works because the steel and the concrete act together as one unit. And for that to happen, you need a super strong bond. Things like oil, grease, mud, even that flaky rust, they're all bond breakers. They get in the way of that connection, and they ultimately weaken the final product.
This is one of those small details with huge consequences. A tie wire that's sticking out basically becomes a tiny straw for moisture, wicking it right into the concrete. That leads to ugly rust stains and can eventually cause the concrete to spall. All you have to do is bend that wire away from the surface, and you prevent a long-term durability headache.
Okay, we've nailed down conventional rebar, which is a major topic for Level 1. Now we're shifting gears to pre-stressing strand. For those of you studying for Level 2, this is where you need to really pay attention.
When it comes to pre-stressing strand, it is all about precision. You're going to verify the correct size, the correct grade, the right number of strands. You're going to check that their position is exactly what the drawings call for. And finally, you'll check for cleanliness and make sure the debonding is applied correctly.
A bad bond is a big problem with rebar, but it's even more serious with pre-stressing strand because the entire pre-stressing force is transferred to the concrete through that bond. If a strand is dirty, especially with form release agent, it can't grip the concrete. That means the member won't get its full design strength, and its structural capacity is compromised.
Deep bonding might sound weird, but it's actually an intentional process of preventing bond in specific areas, usually to control stress. As an inspector, you've got to verify that the sheath, or the tube, has the correct length, is in the right location according to the drawings, and is sealed up tight to keep concrete slurry from getting inside. All right, we're at our final pre-pour check, the embedded items. This is all the hardware, the plates, the inserts, the connectors that connect the piece to the rest of the structure, and of course, the lifting devices that allow it to be handled safely.
Your job here is to be meticulous. Every single embed has to match the shop drawings for its size, its type, and its location. A misplaced lifting insert is a serious safety hazard, and a misplaced connection plate can bring an entire job site to a grinding halt.
So we've walked through all the individual pieces. Now let's bring it all home and talk about the final sign-off, summarizing your role as the quality control inspector.
This right here is your final mental checklist. Have you verified the forms? Yes. Confirmed the rebar? Check. Checked the strand? You bet. Secured the embeds? Done. When you can confidently say yes to all four, that setup is ready for concrete.
The TM-101 manual really just says it perfectly. You are not there to build the setup. You're there to provide an objective, independent audit. This separation of duties is the absolute bedrock of good quality control. And in the end, it all comes down to this. 1. You have one final, unified opportunity to get every component, every measurement, and every material right before the concrete is placed. One shot to get it right.
Ultimately, the pre-pour inspection isn't just a list of tasks, it's a mindset. It's that critical moment where quality moves from being a drawing on a piece of paper to being a physical reality. So here's a final thought for your exam and for your career. Are you just checking boxes, or are you building quality?